No, it's funny to mention Bill Maher because like that's something that Mike and I talked about a lot. I mean, he wanted to be Bill Maher. Like he wanted to take over Bill Maher's show. Like that was a legitimate ambition of his. He's like, I think I could do that job. Like I think I could do that show. And he wanted to do it. I mean, we talked about it a lot. Like I've seen Bill Maher's show being taped a few times, like in the studio. And Mike and I always talked about it. Like Bill Maher, for all that we hate him on various levels, like his politics are awful, is an incredibly talented host. And Mike wanted to be like that in a way, you know, like he didn't want to adopt any of his politics, but he wanted to be like Bill Maher in terms of just pure hosting abilities. And that's something that we talked about a lot because he wanted to be that mainstream. He wanted to be so like that. He wanted to get on Joe Rogan's show. Like I remember him talking to me. He's like, I think if I got on Joe Rogan's show, like I could talk to him and to his audience in a way that would like get them on board with like socialism. And I was like, yeah, probably, you know, I believe that. But he wanted that because he recognized that that's where people were. And he wanted to meet people where they were. He was never going to be like, Joe Rogan said something problematic. I know you're problematic. You know, like, are you crazy? Like, bajillions of people listen to his show every single week. Like, what are you going to, like, and that's something that he understood kind of intrinsically in his bones, that one of the more damaging strands that has come onto the left in the last, say, 10 or 20 years is to sort of fight these battles around stuff that people like and is basically harmless. And a lot of that stuff has to do with like culture. And like, I mean, this isn't a specific example that I spoke to him about, but like something like, you know, saying that if you listen to Baby It's Cold Outside, you're participating in rape culture, you know, like, like,
yeah,
come on, like totally just get over yourself. Like, I'm sorry. Right. Like, you know, you're tying yourself into a pretzel by like trying to convince someone that because they like that Sinatra's version or something that they're participating in rape culture. You know what I mean? Like
I can just hear me absurd. Like, you're like participating in rape culture.
Yeah. You know, and it's he saw how destructive that was. And, you know, Woz, you mentioned the percentage of the population that doesn't go to college. All that stuff that is basically comes out of the college campus experience. Not just like the activist on college campus, just everything about college as an institution. You know, I went to college, like I can't claim some sort of, but it's designed to shut people out. That all that stuff, all that kind of political culture about the right words you're supposed to say versus the wrong words that you're supposed to say, the right shows that you're supposed to watch versus the wrong shows that you're supposed to watch, the right music that you're supposed to listen to versus the wrong music you're supposed to listen to, is designed to shut out working class people. Like that's just it. And that is something that Mike understood in his bones as someone who grew up very poor, but also went to college. Like he saw that very clearly and was horrified by it. I mean, just absolutely horrified. He saw how destructive it was, you know, how antithetical to a real left culture it was, because it shuts out the people who are the left is supposedly trying to emancipate, which is working class people. So yeah, I mean, that's something also, that we spoke to a lot.
It also distracts. I mean, I feel like, I don't know, maybe you guys disagree with me on this, so tell me what you think, but I feel like the people who spend all their time policing language or policing culture and what people like and dislike in popular culture are really communicating from a place of privilege, right? Because if you're struggling to put food on the table for yourself and your family, you don't care about using the perfect non-offensive language when you're communicating. And so many Americans right now are struggling. Since the summer, an additional 8 million Americans have slipped into poverty. And so how are you going to appeal to those people and encourage them to join the fight for the types of policies that we desperately need, when a huge subculture within the left is all about language policing and judging how people live their personal lives? Like, can we just focus on what matters so people can live lives of decency? I think the most the most indecent thing is that we keep allowing ourselves to get distracted by squirrels, when in reality, like, we should be focusing on people's material needs for survival.